Hi there, Tracy Brown, and I thought I would talk a little bit today about. I don't think it's a topic that people ask me a lot in terms of directly, but after I work with people a little while, let's say a couple months, they're already starting to feel a little bit like antsy about basically when this process will be done. And so I thought I would give a few indicators of what it would look like to be free from food, food and body image issues. And I don't say that like it's going to be over in a few weeks or a few months or even a few years. I mean, I think the part where it feels like it's taken over your life can be done in months and years. But I think that there's always going to be this growth and this up leveling of how free we get. It's tricky because if our culture was openly encouraging of liking your body, and there wasn't any, making money off of the way we eat, or in terms of like new diets all the time and new ways of eating, and that always could be monetized by somebody, or especially if there was no more diet industry, we'd have a much easier time getting to a place, I think, of okayness. Now, I know that we don't all diet or restrict or binge just because of our body size, but I do know, because these also have other factors that play into it that we won't really go into today. But let's just talk about like the external things around like the environment we're in. If that environment was way more supportive, we'd all be a whole lot better off, basically. So I thought I would read to you. So again, I'm going to be reading a little bit off of something because I don't have all this memorized. And this is something that I do talk to my clients about on a weekly basis. But what does it look like if you are, mostly free from like food and weight issues? And a lot of this is going to be physical stuff. I'm not going to delve. I think I could do whole hours and hours in talking about like full embodiment and liking your body, liking yourself. That's a whole other several hours of video. But just going to talk about these physical signs today. So of course, if you are mostly recovered from any kind of like chaotic eating or restricted eating, that's going to improve your metabolic rate. So getting your metabolic rate back to a kind of the way your body was designed to run naturally. And by doing that, you should have better sleep patterns and warmth. And I know that all those factors in life do change and fluctuate. So that would be something to look at. Well, what's normal-ish? What do my labs say for this age? Why do I feel cold? Is this because I'm undernourished or my food's chaotic because I've been dieting and binging? Or is this because I've reached a different stage in my life where maybe my hormones are different and I need to look into that? So food consumption patterns, obviously, pretty obvious, right? So, having a consistent pattern in eating, being flexible about meals and snacks. You're no longer binging, restricting, counting calories. I think this is a big one, but allowing time for yourself and your needs to get met. So allowing time to get your meals and snacks in, allowing time to grocery shop and prepare meals, or just make sure that you're nourished. I mean, that is actually part of normal food consumption patterns. This goes without saying with like caloric intake, making sure you're taking in the quote-unquote appropriate, whatever that means, but the amount of calories that you need to normalize your metabolic rate. So, this also means like being able to eat flexibly, like eating calories from sauces, beverages, uncountable things, eating enough calories that basically helps you be in your set point range. And this goes back to the next one. So weight. You're able to weigh basically your body will naturally weigh. You have normal period function and hormone function. You can have a period without being on birth control. Obviously from the other perspective, not having any external ways of you feeling like you have to measure yourself. So letting your body be where it needs to be without manipulating it with constantly body checking with your clothes, or body checking with weighing in all the time. So those factors are really important. When it comes to activity level, I think that our bodies are naturally designed to want to move. So I think this falls on the spectrum of having an intake that doesn't feel compulsive, as well as having, not intake, but having activity doesn't feel compulsive, as well as activity that doesn't feel like, oh, I hate exercise and I don't want to ever get going. Coming from me, you're not morally obligated to ever move your body. But if you want to and it's important to you and it actually you feel the benefits of it in your life, then finding ways that feel sustainable, not compulsive, don't make you feel guilty if you miss, that is all really important. I run into this a lot, and basically being able to restore your GI function normally. So not having constipation, diarrhea, bloating, not needing to rely on like laxatives or other kind of things. If you're discovering that like you feel like you're doing better with like maybe not dieting, but you're still feeling some feelings of all those symptoms, maybe as well as like feeling full before you kind of mentally think you should, like prematurely feeling full, you definitely need to be talking to somebody about that. There's some kind of level of delayed gastric emptying or inflammation that's happening that needs to be checked out. So contact me, go to the doctor, get that checked out, because sometimes there's something else going on that you've been doing everything you can and you're still having symptoms. Delayed gastric emptying can happen definitely for people in the first several weeks, maybe first couple months of stopping dieting. That's not necessarily abnormal, but if there's some kind of underlying thing that is happening that you don't know about, this is when it may show up. Okay. This is a big one, food and body preoccupation. So really our thoughts about food really should only take up about 15 to 20% of our time, meaning the time we think about, oh, I'm going to get a little hungry, what am I going to eat, or getting groceries or cooking meals. It really shouldn't take up even maybe not even a quarter of our conscious thinking and time in our day. So if you're always checking online and counting calories or checking in with Fitbits and all those mechanisms to distract yourself from your internal wisdom and your intuitive ability to know, that's a problem. Obviously, you want to stop weighing, measuring your body and your food, as well as like not food hoarding, collecting recipes, excessive shopping, obsessively reading labels, that kind of thing. Of course, this goes without speaking, variety of foods. You're able to eat a variety of food from all the major macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat, and other essentials like your vitamins, minerals, water, that kind of thing. You're able to do that just by eating a variety of food, and that will help you not rely on lots of like protein bars and supplements. And I'm into supplements, but they don't need to replace your food intake. So, of course, if you're reading this, you know that you're probably, or listening to this, you either have had or you're working through food fears. So being able to eat a variety of food without fear and guilt and shame and feeling like you have to make up for something, that's prerequisite to being free. You have to have that in this to actually be free. And seeing people say, well, I weigh more, so I must be fine, or I've stopped binging, so I must be fine. So even if some of the behaviors are alleviated, which is awesome, if you still got the mindset of like restrictiveness and Last Supper syndrome kind of thinking, then it's still kind of an issue for you. Social eating's a big one. So if you're able to eat out and be flexible about that, even if it's not quote unquote ideal, or your favorite place, or you just went there, you're able to be flexible and able to eat out socially with people without being anxious, without being preoccupied with the food, and the food is not the main entree, basically. It's not the main activity. Okay, so a couple of things. Of course, being able to be an intuitive, in tuned eater is part of. I'm pretty hardcore about this. I believe that nutrition information plays a part in that, but being able to really, you be the nutrition expert, you being able to trust what your body needs, and making that your number one go-to for reliance, and not giving your power away to anybody else outside of yourself, as a way to feel safe, comfortable, whatever. You're able to listen and acknowledge and honor your signals of hunger and fullness. You're able to tolerate, like getting over full sometimes and not feeling bad about it and not feeling you have to compensate. You're just like, ugh, I'm too full. And of course, the last part is acceptance of yourself. So being able to accept your body size, maybe not love it yet, but be at least in neutrality with it. as well as give up the pursuit of dieting. It's huge. I don't think they go together. I don't think body image, neutrality of the body, and making peace with your food can coexist really with dieting. I think we can make food changes to enhance our life and maybe some health status things that we're trying to improve, but I don't think dieting and liking ourselves coexist, because they're just, dieting is about deprivation. Dieting is about feeling like not good enough. That's the name of the game. So, yeah, just freeing yourself from the body preoccupation. That's what we're talking about here. So these, and there's probably things on here on my list that I haven't discussed, and please email me or write me and let me know that, like, oh, you left out blah, blah, blah. And basically, I only touch on the surface stuff here. I can do a whole other video, which I may, about like what the metaphor of all this means. So I may talk about that too, as well. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. Just to, like, this is what you all are working on when you're breaking free from restricting and emotional eating and binging. These are some of the markers that might help you. So, like, what am I shooting for here? What does that look like? And this is just the physical stuff. I didn't talk about much of the emotional stuff, which I think I should. So look for that video. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.